Okay, how we doing, folks? Tonight, well, actually, it's morning now. It's about 12:30 in the morning on June 9th, but we're doing this for June 8th. We're doing our finals recap of Game 3 of the NBA Finals. I'm sorry it's late. I got a little tied up tonight, unfortunately. I was able to watch some of the game bits and pieces. Thankfully, it really wasn't much of a game to speak of, so I didn't really miss much, but I saw, what I could, watch what I could. Unfortunately, I was busy tonight. Cleveland able to get the win by 30, 120 to 90 to cut the series lead in half to 2-1. Cleveland shot 52.7 to Golden State's 42.1. Now we've seen that all playoffs long when Cleveland shoots as well as they do. Over 50%. We've seen it in many games. They're generally a tough team to beat, as are most teams that shoot that well. LeBron James led the way, 14 of 26, 32 points, 11 rebounds, 6 assists. Kyrie Irving finally snapped out of it, 30 points, 12 of 25 shooting. So those guys finally turned it around, which is good. The bench is still an issue for Cleveland. Dellavedova only 2 points. A lot of guys got minutes, obviously, in the blowout. Shumpert, 3 points, only 18 minutes. They're really not playing Shumpert. We talked about that in the player preview for the finals, how important Shumpert could be, and he's just not getting many minutes, so I'm a little surprised by that. On the other end of things, now we really have to start concerning ourselves. Maybe concerning isn't the right word, but it's certainly a storyline you have to look at, and that's Steph Curry and Klay Thompson. Only 19 points for Curry, 10 points for Klay Thompson. Granted, they didn't play a lot in the blowout, but still logged 31 minutes. Combined 10 of 26 shooting between the two of them, 4 of 16 from behind the arc. It was 6 of 13, 3 of 9 for Curry, 4 for 13, 3 of 7 for Klay Thompson. Now, they got away with it because they won the first two games without these guys playing particularly well, and that was something to look at as, oh, the series was over. Now you have to look at it and say, well, is this an actual issue? Because I'm expecting Golden State is going to come out and really be focused. I don't think they really had it. They didn't look sharp tonight. They got blown out in the first quarter, 33 to 16. Came back in the second quarter to get it close. It was 51-43 at halftime, only an 8-point game. Cleveland really asserted themselves in the third quarter to put it away with a 12 point advantage in the third quarter, 38 to 26, and then another 10-point advantage in the fourth quarter. But at that point, the game was a little bit out of hand. Golden State made a bit of a run, a little past the midway point of the third quarter to get it around 15. They were hovering there because Cleveland came out pretty hot in the start of the second half to swallow that 8-point lead. Then Golden State fought back, but Cleveland was able to keep them at bay. So, we got to look at that Curry Thompson situation because Game 4 now becomes very big, obviously, in this series. Certainly, it's still much bigger for Cleveland because of loss, and they're in very big trouble, falling down 3-1 as the road team. But Golden State, you don't want to see them get tied. You don't want to see Cleveland start hitting their shots and getting confident as they did in this game. Now, Kevin Love didn't play. He was out with the concussion. So we're going to see how that's going to affect Cleveland when he comes back. If he's still not able to shoot well, then things are still going to be interesting because Cleveland needs Irving, Love, and James, as well as everyone else, to be at their best to beat a team like Golden State. I don't take much from this game. The 30 points to me is actually, I would look at it as more, I don't want to say detrimental, but had Cleveland won a close game where I knew Golden State was bringing their absolute best, which it just wasn't there tonight for Golden State, then I'd be like, all right, Cleveland's here. They have a legitimate chance. They're beating Golden State at their best. However, Golden State was not at their best tonight and winning by 30 points. It's kind of like, well, they had the 2-0 lead. They, came to Cleveland. You had the 2 days off, which I didn't like. There's only going to be 1 day off between these next two games. What was it? 2 games off between games 1 and game 2, and then 2 games off between games 2 and game 3, which I was a little surprised by. And I think Golden State just didn't come out with the focus. And so you're not taking much from Cleveland. You say, well, they won by 30. That just, shows they're really in it. Not necessarily. To me, it shows that Golden State wasn't bringing their A game. So we're going to see what happens in game 4. That's what I'm most looking forward to and most intrigued by is, can Cleveland hang with Golden State when the Golden State is on top of their game? Because they haven't showed that they can really stay with them outside. The first 3 quarters of game 1 they did, but then they lost in the second half. Remember, Golden State, though, didn't necessarily bring their A game with Curry and Thompson in game one. Game two, again, they didn't play great, but I thought the entire team played much better in game two. So it's going to be interesting to see what can happen. Of course, that swings both ways, though. You say, well, Golden State hasn't really played well, and now Cleveland finally snapped out of it. So that's why Game 4 is really going to be a very interesting game in this series to see what happens. If Golden State can recover, get the win, obviously they put a stranglehold on this series. If Cleveland, if it's another blowout, then you got to look at Curry and Thompson and wonder if Golden State is all there, or if Cleveland wins a close game, then things become interesting. So not much to really take away from this one. It lays a foundation for what could happen in Game 4, but as far as this one, just your typical blowout game. So when Game 4 comes up, which will be on Saturday, we will, of course, give you the recap of that one. Be sure to stay tuned for that. Again, my apologies that this one came a little late tonight, but have a good night, and we will see you come Saturday. Thank you.